Alright, who's ready? Let's go! Gonna put these into categories, starting with exceptions that didn't fit anywhere. Toby, from Naruto Shippuden. So from all the theories and analysis I built up over the years, the logic really pointed to Toby being a good antagonist, but when his character was finally concluded in the manga, he actually didn't really strike a chord with me. This doesn't really mean I was wrong about him though. The thing you gotta remember about Naruto Shippuden is it's long and rolling. I don't even remember half the shit that happened in Shippuden. And I feel like I missed a lot of the context on this character. If I watched or read all of Shippuden in one go, I think I'd appreciate him a lot more, but just put another O on this word for every episode of Shippuden. I can't practically do an analysis on Toby, so I'm afraid all he gets is an honorable mention. Next exception is Frieza from Dragon Ball Z. Abridged. The f***? So here's the thing, I don't believe the original Frieza deserves a place on this list. He's a fairly hateable character, but that's about all he is. Nostalgia plays a big part here. I just think when people talk about Frieza, they skip pulling the wool over their eyes and just go straight to duct taping a sheep to their face. But Frieza Abridged, on the other hand, maybe it's sacrilege to say, but he's straight up an improvement on the original. He's got so much more of a distinctive personality in this somewhat posh, stuck-up evil guy. And holy shit, does he become entertaining as hell. He becomes both hugely funny and at the same time really intimidating, with some writing that's just a fucking godsend.
Going to.
Oh, no, don't mind me. By all means, give me some ideas.
But alas, as much as I tried, I couldn't justify a parody of an anime as an actual anime, so I left him behind. But still, honorable mention. Don't worry, I promise this is the only stupid one. Next, Joffrey Baratheon, Game of Thrones. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, out of the exceptions and into the individual categories. First category, popular picks that I didn't think deserved a place. Number 1, Frieza, obviously. Number 2, Berserk spoilers coming up, you have been warned. It's Griffith, everybody. Look, I love this anime and I love Griffith even more, but as an antagonist, Griffith is nothing. He's like an antagonist for one episode. There's no real explanation, no real conclusion to his character. So like, trainer antagonists make for some really good antagonists, or because like, their development into becoming an antagonist can be really strong character development, and also they play the part in a very powerful plot twist. But the one episode Griffith got actually being an antagonist was just not enough. I'm sorry. Number 3, Light Yagami. Okay, breathe in, breathe out. Light Yagami is not an antagonist. He can't be. The story starts with him, the story centers around him. By all logic, he is the main character. By definition, that makes him a protagonist. The reason everyone feels that Light is an antagonist or even a villain is because of his morals in the beginning of the series, and especially at the end of the series. At the start, it's just very questionable, and your view of his character can depend a lot on perspective. But it's okay, there's a name for that sort of thing. Instead of an antagonist, Light is much closer to what you would call an anti-hero. Of course, at the end of the series, there's nothing questionable about his morals anymore. He loses all redeeming features and becomes downright hateable. But you know what? He's still a protagonist, because the story still focuses on him, and he is still the main character. He's just a really bad one. But Unique Namosaurus, in Death Note vs. Code Geass, you said something different. Yeah, I know, I was wrong. I was using some really weird definitions in that video, apparently. I've since changed my views since then. But Unique Namosaurus, in the preview to this video series, you put Kira's laugh. I'm sorry, it just sounded so perfect there. I fucked up, okay? I totally forgot about the conclusions that I came to. Or maybe it was while I was in the middle of forming those conclusions. I actually don't remember. Anyway, so one more question you probably want answered. If an antagonist is someone who opposes the protagonist, and the protagonist is Light Yagami, then doesn't that mean that L should be on this list? Next category, the whoops I forgot about you category. Number 1, L from Death Note. So yeah, at the time, I never even considered putting L on this list. I need to go watch Death Note again before I form an opinion on if he deserved a place or not. And when that happens, I'll come back with a follow-up video, so until then. Number 2, spoilers for Code Geass. Number 2 in this category is Suzaku, yet again another character I did not consider. I'm assuming I never considered Suzaku and L because their morality is rather uncommon in an antagonist. Anyway, just like L, I'll be doing a follow-up video sometime in the future. Finally, number 3. Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya spoilers. Oh, what a sin I have committed, Yuki Nagato. How could I forget you, you beautiful, beautiful character you. You can expect a follow-up video on this one too. Next category, the true honorable mentions. Antagonists worth mentioning, but they didn't do quite enough. 1. MADOKA MAGICA spoilers. Number 1 is Kyubey. Kyubey? Yeah. Very cool concept and motive, nothing much else though, then the fact he was barely human was kind of a hindrance on his depth. Number 2, the anti-spirals, Gurren Lagann. Cool concept, cool motive, nothing much else though. Number 3, Attack on Titan spoilers. Number 3 is Annie from Attack on Titan. She's a lot like Griffith. Trainer antagonists are cool because plot twist, but I need more than that. She needed a proper explanation, more depth, and perhaps a stronger personality. And yeah, I know, I'm going off the first season of Attack on Titan. Sorry, but I can't analyze what I haven't seen. As of right now, in the anime, she isn't good enough. That same logic goes for Griffith too, by the way. Number 3, Nui, Kill la Kill. Hateable and a fairly strong personality. Gonna need more than that though. She lacked depth and was kinda just evil for the sake of being evil. Number 4, Lad Russo, Bakano. This one just barely scraped number 10 for me. Amazing, entertaining personality. Not much in terms of depth, but that personality alone almost rivaled Hisoka. Almost. What, I like my pedophile? Whoa, gonna stop that sentence. Number 5, Legato Blue Summers, Trigun. Okay, this one deserves a little extra screen time. So you know how Makishima and Johan both have this element to their personality and their actions that makes them both badass and foreboding? These antagonists are straight up intimidating because they're always portrayed as such powerful characters. It's because of that, though, that if they ever lose or are humiliated, especially before the actual end of the series, they lose this fearful side to their character. It seems to be an anticlimax of sorts. Legato Blue Summers gets a special mention because he solves this issue completely. He has this powerful badass element to him like Makishima and Johan, but he's never truly defeated. I'm not going to go into it here, but Legato Blue Summers is finally defeated because by being defeated by the main character, it means the main character will suffer immensely. It's straight up part of his plan to be defeated, and because of that, his character is concluded without anyone ever getting the better of him. Go watch Trigun if you want to understand what I mean by all of that. It's well worth it. In fact, Trigun is one of my 2 90s animes that I actually think stand up to today's standards. Apart from Parasite? I mean, does Parasite count? I don't know. Anyway, this design choice for Legato was no short of genius. However, Legato didn't make the list because apart from this one point, he's incredibly generic. In the anime, he has no real depth, no real motives, he doesn't really do much to be hateable, and he has no solid or distinct personality, so yeah. Alright, next category. The franchise was too good category. Antagonists probably would have made it on the list if it wasn't for the one character per franchise rule. Number 1, Itachi from Naruto. So I was a bit skeptical about Itachi. He's a good dick with good motives and depth and a great twist, but when I watched the series originally, I remember being quite confused with some elements of his character that didn't really add up. What were those elements? I don't remember. Same issue with Toby. Itachi is across so many episodes that I can't possibly review him. Sorry, Itachi fans. Number 2, Hunter x Hunter spoilers. Number 2 is Meruem. So, the amazing thing about Meruem is he's an antagonist that's set up to be inherently evil and bad, but then he has serious and powerful developments as he grows to be actually 3-dimensional. This is both good and bad. The good thing is that it tricks you into thinking he's boring, only to give him super strong developments later on. The bad thing is that it tricks you into thinking he's boring. Look, I know, I get it, that's the point. But whether it's the point or not, it doesn't change the fact that I was still bored out of my fucking mind for 50% of this character's screen time. This might honestly be perspective though, because it all depends on if you personally thought the boring part was worth it for the plot twist. And that's something I can't very easily objectively analyze. Either way, for me personally, his character made for some of the best scenes in the arc, but also some of the worst, and that brought this character down a lot. To me, Hisoka was just the more reasonable choice. Anyway, number 3, a shit ton of fairy tale characters. Number 4, a shit ton of Brotherhood characters with particular mention to Bradley. As I said in one of the comments, Bradley was a close contender with Envy. Bradley was the deeper character and even had some elements of the badass traits that I was talking about before. But Envy had the super powerful high impact moments, and that was what had me put Bradley below. Okay, last category, the goddammit category. The antagonist that would have made the list if I hadn't already planned out the goddamn list before I watched the goddamn series that said goddamn antagonists were goddamn from. Number 1, Reiko Tamura, Parasite. Sorry, I was having too much fun. Number 1, Reiko Tamura, Parasite. She was a bit boring personality-wise, but it had some seriously strong developments. Number 2, Beerus, Dragon Ball Z, Battle of the Gods. Holy shit, I was genuinely surprised by this guy. He had a very fun, distinctive, and entertaining personality, and if I recall, he wasn't just plain evil, he had some proper motives other than just being the god of destruction. I think. I don't remember too well. Again though, another character that might have taken number 10. Number 3. And finally, a shit ton of Akame ga Kill characters. Holy shit, I was so impressed by this anime. Need to do a whole video on this shit, but I think the thing that impressed me most was the antagonists. There were a bunch of super generic side antagonists, but those were never really the focus. The real antagonists? Man, they all had distinctiveness and depth, and they were also human with their own reasonable motives. It was fucking brilliant. I say Soyu was probably my favorite, but hey, more on that in another video. Anyway, that's it for honorable mentions. Woo! You guys ready for the next part? Thanks for your input, Chair.